Hey, welcome to another episode of the Undiscovered Games video podcast, where we take a look at the lesser-known board games of the world and share those with you. Now let's take a look at a beautiful, colorful game called Wizards Wanted, designed by Nick Hayes and published by Mattel. And my thinking is a lot of people might have overlooked this because it looks like a kid's game. But don't be fooled by that, because there are some crunchy and interesting decisions in this game. It's all about efficient movement around the board. You have to manage two different currencies, and then you have to collect these cards for set collection at the end of the game. And the theme of the game is you are a wizard traveling around the land trying to complete these different jobs. And the jobs require pixie dust. Traveling around the land requires pixie dust. But to get more pixie dust, you need money. And you get money by completing the jobs. The jobs pay you money and points. They also give you a symbol for different set collection scoring at the end of the game. But there's this nice mix of, you need pixie dust to do this, you need money to do this, and you need both. And then you have to plan your routes efficiently and try to collect different sets. So there's a lot of neat little mechanisms, and they're woven nicely into the lighthearted theme. I just really like the way they mix together. It feels natural. Now look at these components. This is a beautifully produced game by Mattel. High quality pieces. You've got a beautiful box insert to fit everything perfectly. I mean, look at that. I'm blown away that this game sells for like $10 to $20. I mean, it is just a gorgeous game, and it is fun. So this is definitely one, just for the cost alone, go seek this out and try it. I guarantee you, knowing that you spent $10 on this, that's how much I paid for it. Totally worth your money. And again, that's at the time of making this video, so who knows how the price will change. But these components are just beautiful. And typically this is not my style. I usually prefer the older style Euro games with the wooden pieces, but this game just looks awesome. So let's look at some of the cards. There's the Royal Inspector. We'll talk about him later. And these are all the spell jobs that you're trying to complete. All different artwork on all the cards and just really beautifully illustrated. Very clear and concise. Here we have a goat stuck in a tree, which costs 9 pixie dust to complete, and that will give you 1 star and 2 money. Stars are points, 2 money, and you get a yellow symbol for the set collection at the end of the game. Some of the cards give you 2 symbols, but they cost more. But they'll give you 2 symbols and a little bit better reward. So there's all different jobs to complete. There's a goat wedding. So this is just a very fun theme. Here we have troll removal. So the cards are great. The backs of the cards are very functional because they tell you where the magic mushrooms will pop up, which I'll go over those in a minute. Here we have these spell licenses. Now before the end of the game, you're going to have to qualify to practice your wizardry legally. You have to obtain one of these licenses before that Royal Inspector shows up. We'll talk about that more. Here we have our beautiful pixie dust. We have the money there on the right and the magic mushrooms on the left, which are a big and fun part of this game. So all these magic mushrooms that give you bonuses, and they pop up out on the board, and they affect where you might want to go on your turn. The rule book, full color, just gorgeous illustration and very easy to understand the rules. And like I said, this is not just a game for families and kids. I mean, there's a fair amount of depth here, as you can see from this rule book. To set up the board, put everyone's scoring marker in the top left there on 0, and then you're going to stack these charms at each matching spot on the board. The charms are kind of just a bonus payout when you complete cards. Then you're going to take the traveling mountain pixie and put him there. And the forest pixie over here, he will move in a circle in that region. Next, we're going to shuffle up the royal seal bonuses and stack those in the castle. Then we're going to mix the spell licenses, and you're going to deal 1 more of these than the number of players. So in a 4-player game, we're going to deal 5 of those cards. Next, we're going to shuffle all of the spell jobs together. This is the crux of the game here. The Royal Inspector goes in the bottom 4 mixed in. So you're going to deal the bottom 4 without looking, mix the Royal Inspector somewhere in there, and without looking, put the rest of the deck back on top. And now that deck is ready to go. So we set that by the board, and we put the mushrooms over there by the board so they're easy to get. And next, we're going to look at the cards. So we flip over a card on each one of the spots. These will be your starting cards. In addition, you're going to take a player board for each player and get 30 pixie dust in this spot. Over here just shows your initial payout bonus that you start with. So to start the game, you're just going to put 30 pixie dust there, and they are 50, 10, 5, and 1. So that's how those denominations work. Now let's say it's the blue player's turn to go first. They can start on any card on the board. Once you're on the board, then you're stuck out there, you got to move around. But to start the game, you can pick a card and start your movement there. Now when you're a blue player, you're going to look at the blue symbols. Probably that's going to be where you want to start first. So let's just say they start over here. And the reason you want to look at the blue symbols is because you start with a blue bonus as the blue player. So for the outhouse cleaning here, we have to pay 10 pixie dust, and then we will receive 1 point and 3 money. However, since it's a blue symbol, we start with a payout bonus of an extra star and an extra money whenever we complete a blue card. So in this case, we would actually receive 2 stars and 4 money, 1 extra of each thing. So if they complete that, then this card goes out face down. Next, we look over at the stack, and this is going to tell us where the magic mushroom pops up. So we do this every time somebody completes a card. We look at the next card. This says 7 mountains. The mountain region is up top there, so we look for the 7, which is right there. So that's how the mushrooms will come out onto the board, and I'll show you how the mushrooms work in a minute. First, let's look at the board. So these house symbols here, that just shows where the cards go. Those go all around the board there. Next, we'll look at the diamond symbols, like over here. Those show where you can buy pixie dust. Now, pixie dust is very important in this game. You need it to move around the board. You also need it to complete your spell job cards. To move on the board, you get 5 steps, shown here by these boots. 1 step, you actually get to collect 5 pixie dust. 2 steps is free, but anything beyond 2 steps, you're going to be paying pixie dust, so it can get very expensive if you don't learn some other ways to move around the board. So let's look at money as well, because money is very important. You need money to buy pixie dust. You can only buy pixie dust from that guy there, or you can buy pixie dust down here in this corner, but this little dude's gonna charge you an extra $1. And the same for this little guy in this corner. So it's important to familiarize yourself with the board and where everything is, because like for instance, down here in the corners, we have teleporting spots. You can teleport from any corner to any corner for 10 pixie dust. And when you land, you get a bonus. So say I teleport to here, I would get that red charm. Or if I teleported to here, I would get to pick up this blue charm, and that is a bonus payout, which can help you generate bigger points. Now also, the mountain pixie is going to move every time someone teleports. The reason this is important is because you can also teleport to and from the mountain pixie to any corner, or from any corner to the mountain pixie. You still have to pay your 10 pixie dust, but you teleport to him. Now, if you teleport to the mountain pixie, you're not going to get that bonus charm, but he does offer another place to teleport to. Now, you're going to want to visit the castle sometime during the game to obtain your spell license. And when you obtain your license, you also get a bonus token. But if you don't obtain your license, you will be punished by the Royal Inspector. Now remember, the Royal Inspector was shuffled into the bottom 5 cards of the deck, so near the end of the game, he's going to show up. If this guy shows up and you do not have your license from the castle, then you will be punished by losing a lot of points. So you definitely need to visit that castle at some point during the game and hope you qualify. And if you don't qualify, you're going to have to go back there when you do qualify. So that's a neat little thing about the game that keeps you in check. Now let's look at the magic mushrooms. These offer some huge bonuses. These are definitely worth planning your movement to try to pick up. So whenever you walk over top of a mushroom, you immediately get to pick it up and add it to your stash. Another way to move around the board is this royal chicken here. I forget the official name, but basically you can pay this chicken $2 to move to an adjacent chicken. So there's a few chickens, they kind of cut down the middle of the board in like a cross pattern here. So if you pay $2, you can ride the chicken from one chicken to the next chicken, and that does not count toward your steps. So you could pay another $2 to ride this chicken over to this chicken, and so on. That does not count toward these 5 movement steps. Same with your teleporting. You can teleport from one corner to another. That does not count toward your 5 steps. You still have to pay the pixie dust, but you can move around more than 5 steps. Some of these mushrooms even give you free movement. That's 2 steps in addition to the 5. So you could move up to 7 steps if you got that mushroom. And these mushrooms have all sorts of goodies hidden under them. So like you might get more pixie dust or more money or just symbols toward your end game, set collection. You're trying to collect these symbols. Some of the mushrooms will help you do that. There's another mushroom, let's see, this one here is free teleport. So you get to teleport anywhere that you're allowed to teleport without spending that 10 pixie dust. So there's just some really nice incentives to go out of your way and collect these mushrooms throughout the game. So let's give you an example turn here. Say I want to go check to see if I qualify for a spell license. I'm going to walk 5 steps. That's going to cost me 10 pixie dust just to walk over to the castle. Then I get to look at the spell licenses and see if I qualify. So this says I need 2 symbols and 50 pixie dust and so on. They're pretty easy to understand, 7 coins. So then I look, do I qualify right now for any of these? No, I don't, but I can kind of have an idea now what I need to go for and then return to the castle at some point and hope that no one has taken the card that I needed to qualify for. So that's just like one example turn. Another one, maybe I want to walk over here and collect this card and try to complete the outhouse cleaning card. So maybe I want to walk 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So I would look at the board here. That would cost me 6 pixie dust to walk. Then I would need to pay another 10 pixie dust to complete that card. So I would need to pay 16 pixie dust. So I'm going to pay 2 10s here, and then I would get 4 singles back. And this is a great way to teach kids about making change and currency too. There's a neat little math element to this game, which I really like, and calculating these payouts. So here I get 1 star, but I actually have these payout boosters here. Because it's a blue card, I actually get more money. I get 2 extra monies and 2 extra stars. So I actually get 5 coins for completing this card, and I get 3 points, stars. And again, you can only get those payout boosters by teleporting to the corners and collecting them. So sometimes it makes sense to invest a little bit in teleporting just to get those payout boosters for later in the game. There's a little bit of an engine building aspect to this. Now, as the game progresses, whenever you have 3 cards left face up that haven't been chosen yet, then you're going to flip all the cards back over. Now, before you do that, I forgot to do that for the video, but you have to put a coin on each card that did not get chosen, and that kind of boosts it a little bit and makes it a little more enticing for the next round. Now, there's going to be a lot of times in this game where you need pixie dust. Here I do not have enough, and I would like to complete that card, but I just don't have enough to do it. So I'm going to show you kind of how to plan out a neat little route to get up to buy some more pixie dust. So I'm going to first walk 2 steps. Now I'm going to pay for a chicken ride. So I have to pay 2 coins, and this little guy is going to take me up to the next adjacent chicken, which could either be straight up here, or I could curve over and go to this chicken. So since I want to get up to the pixie dust area, I'm going to ride over here. Now, you do not get mushrooms when you ride on the chicken. However, I've only used 2 steps. I still have 3 steps left. So if I go 3, 4, I could get that mushroom. Let's see what it is. Oh, nice. Free pixie dust. That's always good. And then I still use my 5th step to get to the spot. Now I can buy pixie dust. Now, wherever this little green guy is going to show you how much it costs to buy pixie dust. So here you can see the brown number is coins, and the pink number is how much pixie dust you would get. So let's just say it's getting toward the end of the game here. I could max out on pixie dust, but we're running low on cards. I'm not going to have a lot of turns left, so maybe I want to save some of my money because it does count for points at the end. So let's just say I buy $3 worth of pixie dust. I'm just trying to show you how this part works. So I would get 60 pixie dust because I paid my 3 coins. So I will pick up a 50 and a 10 here. And whenever anyone buys Pixie Dust, the green Pixie is going to move one space clockwise, and that will determine the rate for the next player to buy Pixie Dust. So you have this ever-changing market that might affect when you want to go up there, because sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's more expensive. That's kind of cool. Now let's say we reveal the Royal Inspector. As soon as he comes up, the game ends immediately, and he's going to check to see if you have your license. And if you don't have your license, you're going to lose big points. It's however many points are left up in the castle. Now I'm fine because I got my license, but I've never seen anybody win without getting a license. You just lose too many points, so definitely get the license. So for endgame scoring, we look at the Royal Seal bonus. That's what you get when you get your license. This says I get a point per blue symbol. So that's just 3 points. And again, whenever you get your license, you automatically get one of those bonuses. Next, we're going to look at the experience. Well, let's do that one last. Let's do the wealth bonus first. That's easy. That's just a point for every 2 money. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You round that down, so that would be 4 points for my money. And then the final scoring is your set collection for each symbol. So the max you can get is 6 points for having a group of 4 or more. So on my red symbols there, I maxed out. That's 6 points. Then I'm going to look at my blue symbols, but I only got 3 blue symbols. That's only worth 3 points. So you can see it benefits if you can get a set of 4 or more of each symbol. You're really going to score big at the end. So I got my max on yellow. Now, unfortunately, I only got 2 green symbols. That's only going to net me 1 point. So as you can see, I did not plan out my long-term strategy as well as I could have. Pixie Dust, not worth anything at the end, so I have all this Pixie Dust and it's worthless. And that would be my final score. So Wizards Wanted, I'm telling you, there's a lot of game in this box. It looks like a kid's game, but there are a lot of things that board gamers will love. You have your set collection, you have your 2 currencies that you have to manage. You have, a mix of strategy for long term as well as tactical play short term. You have to react to which cards come up, how the mushrooms come up. You have to react to the rate of exchange of the Pixie Dust. You have to do some math to try to calculate your movement. You only get those 5 steps, but you can maximize your movement by, using a mushroom that gives you free movement, or using your teleporting ability. And the teleporting also gives you those payout booster charms, whatever they're called. But there's just a lot of cool things to consider in this game, and it's just centered around moving around the board to complete these cards. But I really enjoy this. My wife really enjoys this. In fact, this is one of my wife's favorite board games ever, which is pretty hard to believe because we play a ton of games. Now, I don't want to overhype it, but there is a lot to love in Wizards Wanted. So all things considered, my rating for this is a solid 9 out of 10. And that takes into account the fact that you can find this for $10 to $20 right now. That takes into account the fact that it's a beautiful production, and anyone walking by the table is going to look at this and just say, wow, that looks like fun. And it is fun. When you actually play it, it is fun. It's as fun as it looks. So you have those elements to my rating. The gameplay itself is smooth, it's streamlined, and there's a wide appeal here. In my experience with the game, we've played this with adults, we've played this with kids. Everyone loves it. The kids love the colors and the theme. The adults love the strategy. I've shown this to several of my friends who are heavy into board games just like we are, and 2 of them bought the game and still have it in their collections, and they thank me regularly for showing this to them because it's one of those games that just, you would never seek it out, you would never even know about it. And again, games like this are why I started this channel, because we play so many board games and we just come across these little hidden gems from time to time, and I love sharing them with people, especially when you can find a game like Wizards Wanted for like $10 to $20. It's definitely worth checking out. And as always, thank you so much for joining us on the Undiscovered Games video podcast. We really appreciate you watching and listening from wherever you are in the world. If you want to help the channel, you can click subscribe and share this video with your friends. There's also a donate link in the description if you wish to support us. Any proceeds go toward making more videos like this and just better quality content in the future. We really have a passion for finding these undiscovered games and sharing them with you. Also, we have an Instagram page if you're not familiar with that. Go give us a follow on the IG. We are at undiscovered_games. We post a lot of cool pictures and written reviews over there as well. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you on the next one.